everybody. So for your literacy task this week, you are writing a recipe for a smoothie or fruit salad. I want you to remember, if you don't have a blender or something to whiz up a smoothie at home, please don't worry. You can make a fruit salad instead. It will be just as delicious. Okay, now a recipe needs to include 3 main sections. The first is your list of ingredients, okay, because whoever's reading your recipe needs to know what they need to buy from the shops to put into their lovely smoothie or fruit salad. The second thing is the equipment, okay, because any kind of cooking or food making that you're doing, you need to allow people to know what equipment they are going to need, okay? And then finally, you need to tell them the method. You need to tell them exactly what they need to do to make your fantastic recipe. So I'm just going to quickly show you how I'm going to do mine, okay? So for my ingredients, I just need to list things in bullet points or just one under the other. Just list the items I'm going to include, okay? So I'm going to use a banana. I'm going to use mango. I'm going to use milk. I'm going to use honey. And I quite like a little bit of cinnamon in my smoothie. Okay, so that is my 5 ingredients that I need to make my smoothie. You might have more than me, you might have less. A little tip, when you're making smoothies, you need liquid, okay? Otherwise it will just become really difficult to blend and it might just become a bit of a paste rather than a lovely smoothie drink, okay? So you could use milk, you could use water, you could use juice, it is up to you. Now, for my equipment, I'm going to need a chopping board. Going to need to cut up these pieces of fruit, aren't you? So we're going to need a knife. Now, I only want to see people using knives if their mums or dads or family members, preferably an adult, is with them and has allowed them to do it. If your family members say no, then it's no, okay? Because knives can be really sharp. So I've got my chopping board, I've got my knife, and I'm going to also need a blender, okay? This is what is going to blend my fruits and my cinnamon, honey and milk together to make it smooth and into a drink. If you don't have one of these at home, you might have something called a NutriBullet or a juice blender. Ask mums or dads. Honestly, don't worry, make a fruit salad instead, okay? Now, next up, we're going to need to write our method, okay? So we've got our ingredients, we've got our equipment, okay? So when you're writing a method, you need to make sure, okay, when we're writing instructions, you need to make sure that you're using our sequence vocabulary, okay? So first, next, then, after, finally, okay? You might have more steps, you might have less steps, okay? Don't worry, just do what's right for your recipe, but please make sure to remember to use these sequencing words at the start of every sentence, okay? So, first, for my method, I am going to need to chop and dice your fruit using a knife and chopping board. Okay, those of you who have already done your vocabulary task this week will see the words chop and dice, okay? I want you to really think about the sorts of words that we can use when writing about food, okay? So chop and dice are good bits of vocabulary to use, okay? Next, place your fruit into a blender and pour, which is another one of our lovely vocabulary words from our vocab task this week, and pour over the milk. Okay, all of these bits of vocabulary that I'm pointing out, guys, are going to be really good for making your smoothie or fruit salad recipe more interesting. Okay, if you just said, put the fruit in it, put the milk in it, press the button, done, it's going to sound a little bit boring, isn't it? Okay, so make sure you're using the words from your vocabulary task. Okay, so my third one, then add a squeeze of honey. Okay, there's a bit of vocab there. A squeeze of honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. Okay, sprinkle is another piece of vocabulary. Imagine it sort of makes you be able to picture what's happening to the food going into the recipe by using this vocab. Okay, so we've got first, chop and dice your fruit using a knife and chopping board. Next, place your fruit into a blender and pour over the milk. Then add a squeeze of honey and a sprinkle of cinnamon. After, whiz up your smoothie in the blender and then finally, what do you think we're going to do? Finally is always our last step, and it's finally pour your smoothie into a glass and enjoy. I'm not going to put a full stop there. I'm going to put an exclamation mark because I want to really emphasize the enjoying of that, okay? So there you have it. There's Miss Marks' smoothie recipe. I'll do a video of me presenting this for the oracy task as well, okay? And I want to see you all using your sequencing vocabulary, okay? And your recipe vocabulary. Chop, dice, pour, squeeze, sprinkle, whiz, pour, okay? It's all there for you in your vocab task. Right, good luck. I'm excited to see some delicious smoothies and fruit salads this week. Bye for now.